What's up everybody, Tech Chucker here, and today we're going to take a look at the Marvel Legends Captain America Mandroid Wave Agents of Hydra Hydra Soldier. Now, to get started, this figure is pretty cool. I mean, it's not entirely that unique in terms of the body sculpt, but it's still a really cool figure. So let's dig in and take a closer look. All right, so first up, let's take a look at the articulation because this figure's got really good articulation, but it's not all that unique to any of the other figures that are using this mold. But basically, the head can move up a fairly good amount. You can see he can look up almost all the way up, just like that, and then he can move down and get his chin down to his chest really nice. So that's really good. He's got good side to side, no issues there, and just a little bit of tilt. Not a lot, but a little bit. And so I'm happy with that. The shoulders are on a ball peg, and he can raise them up, above his shoulder, which is great. This is really nice. He's got full rotation of the shoulder, which is great. Bicep swivel works very well, no problems there. He's got double jointed elbows, which work relatively well, but because of the bulk of the arm, he's not going to get a full bend, but that's okay. And then there's a peg joint in the wrist and a hinge joint, which allows him to do pretty good curl of the wrist, and he can move his wrist up. So no issues there. In the waist articulation or the torso, he's got a basic joint, which allows him a really good ab crunch. You can see here he can bend pretty much all the way forward, and not as good for a back arch, but it's okay. You can see, yeah, I mean it's okay. It's not bad, but the waist articulation, he's got a regular swivel there. The belt does not cause any issues. Doesn't really wear all that bad. So I'm happy there. The hips, it's a T-jointed hip joint, just like we've seen on quite a few of the other figures. He can do the splits about this much, which is not bad. And then he can kick forward about this much, and that's pretty good. Not the best that we've seen, but it's pretty good. And then backwards kick, that's actually pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the backwards kick there. Upper thigh swivel works well, no issues there. I'm happy with that one. Double jointed knees, you can see he can bend almost entirely in half, but because of the bulk again of some of those leg pieces, he can't bend all the way. There is a shin or boot swivel. I'm not super happy with the way that this looks. You can see that there is some sculpt continuity issues when you turn that. But the ankles, he moves his ankle back that much, and he can move his ankle forward if you force it that much. That's not too bad. And then he does have an ankle rocker. So overall, I'm pretty happy with the overall articulation on this figure. There's no major complaints. It's a solid bit of articulation on this figure, so I'm very happy with it. All right, so moving into the sculpt of this figure, it's actually mostly the Bucky cap sculpt, but the head, let's start with that because I really am happy with the way that they sculpted this head with the red eye goggly things and the mask. That turned out really well. I like the shoulder strap and with the Hydra emblem. It just looks really good. I like this strap. It's got a little bit of a texture to it, so it just looks great. And I like these pouches on the belt. There's really nice detail to it, and the buckle, and basically they did a really good job with some of the add-on pieces, which is great. The feet look nice. There's some nice detail. You can see there a little bit of texturing, which is nice. The rest of the figure, there's not really all that much different for the sculpt as far as I can tell. They're reused hands, I think. So overall, it's a solid sculpt, and they did a good job adding to the already good body mold. Mostly the head is the winner here. That's the best part about this figure. Okay, so I was pretty happy about the articulation and the sculpt. Are we that happy when it comes to the paint? For the most part, yes, but it's pretty much an average paint job. The main piece of paint that we're looking at, the best paint app, is in the eyes. They did a good job with that red. That looks really nice. And they did a clean paint job on the face where the line for the actual skin tone ends. The H or the Hydra logo looks good. It's nice and clean. The issues that I have is there's pretty much no paint anywhere else. Except for maybe this belt buckle. The pouches and the shoulder straps and pretty much anything else, there's not really any paint detail. There's no shading whatsoever on the figure. So I'm a little disappointed in that. That could have made this figure just amazing. Instead, the paint job, it kind of brings it down a little bit. It still looks great, but again, some shading would have gone a long way, especially on some of these yellow parts. That really could have helped. All right, so your Hydra soldier comes with two guns, and they're really weird looking rifles. This particular one has really nice paint detail with the skull Hydra emblem on the top. That looks really cool, and there is some neat sculpt work to this. It's not a realistic looking gun by any means, and it's not all that awesome. The paint apps are okay. This other gun is extraordinarily long, and we happen to see the same gun. You can see how tall this is. It goes, I mean, there's guns that are that long, but Winter Soldier, that figure comes with this same gun, just painted differently. I like the paint on this one better. I like the color scheme. There is some nice detail. You can see that little yellow dot. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be. The greens are nice, and it's clean. I just don't really care for the sculpt of those guns. They're just not very realistic at all looking. They're kind of gimmicky looking to me. So it's nice to have them. He holds them well, or at least the long gun he holds very well. I would have liked to have seen an unmasked head. That would have been kind of cool. Okay, so overall, this figure is a really good figure. It's a definite must-have for your collection, especially if you don't have the older Toy Biz one that I do not have. So this is a really good figure. I know I threw out some of the negatives, or quite a bit of the negatives on the figure, and those are just observations that I made that I would like to have seen some better paint and whatnot on this figure. But in the end, there's still nothing to complain about, nothing to stop you from getting this figure. They are hard to get in store. I lucked out and got this one in store. They must have had it stuck in the back room or something for months, just waiting for me to come pick them up, and I nabbed him at retail price. So I am happy. Definitely, if you find him out in the wild, pick him up, even if he's at 20 or 25 bucks. I think it's well worth it because this is a really cool figure. If you're an army builder, good luck starting that army now, but this is a great figure. So I hope you enjoyed this review. I hope it's helpful. For more, make sure you click subscribe, and I will see you later.
Tetris Brain Blast.